Hello viewers, and thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Crime Watch, a program meant to engage with you members of the public and highlight to you our roles and operations. I am your host, Onesisa Sibanda. The Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazembe Kazembe, has warned gender-based violence perpetrators that with the aid of modern technology, their days have come to an end. He said this as he officially opened the National Gender-Based Violence Call Center at the Immigration Department in Harare.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to unveil the Gender-Based Toll-Free Call Center within the Department of Immigration. The establishment of this call center comes at a time our country, as is the case with the whole world, is still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. You may recall that the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic was characterized by closed borders and restricted movement of people. These measures inadvertently exposed travelers and migrants, particularly vulnerable groups such as women and children, to various hazards that are associated with migration. The vulnerable groups were ordinarily alienated from the countries of origin, families and embassies. This meant that they were unable to receive prompt assistance, a scenario that increased their vulnerability. Driven by the need to protect migrant women and children against all forms of exploitation and gender-based violence, the Department of Immigration, working in conjunction with the UNDP and other stakeholders, mooted the idea of establishing this facility. The call center comprises state-of-the-art information and communication technology equipment with toll-free hotlines accessible to members of the public for inquiries, information dissemination, and related referral processes. Chazwele ndifanza nechekuti system yacho inobvatana nepolice ipapo. Immediately and instantly in real time, the case is referred to the police. That is technology. And also I was reliably informed that the system is also going to be linked to legal aid. So I personally wonder, I may want to warn those who are very much given to domestic violence that your days are numbered because you'll be exposed. The surge in cases of gender-based violence is, as well as those of smuggling and trafficking of women for purposes of exploitation, brings to the fore the importance of having readily accessible migration services. Talking of women trafficking, it would be remiss for me to omit making reference to our own experiences as a country. The vulnerability of our own people, women in particular, is epitomized by the brutal experiences that were endured by our female compatriots who were trafficked to Kuwait in 2013 and most recently to Oman. As I mentioned, these people now will be able to reach us from anywhere in the world for assistance. These disturbing cases have taught us that migrants, regardless of nationality and status, still have inalienable rights that must be protected. Protection, however, can only be extended to these vulnerable groups when relevant institutions, such as the Department of Immigration, the police, and other stakeholders are readily accessible and fully capacitated with information and resources.
Moving on, fighting corruption is a collective responsibility, and in the same spirit, fighting bribery is also a collective responsibility. Police in Mashonaland East Province took to the highways to engage motorists in a crime awareness campaign aimed at promoting honesty, transparency, and accountability amongst citizens.
With respect to the ongoing national exercise by the Zimbabwe Public Police, it was meant to suppress the cases of bribery. Police in Mashonaland East Province have taken a stern measure in support of this initiative. As the province, we have so far accounted for 22 suspects in connection with the bribery-related cases, and we have also so far activated awareness campaigns to conscientize members of the public to desist from offering bribes to the police officers. Members of the public are also reminded that whoever solicits a police officer will equally be dealt with, will equally face the full wrath of the law.
Corruption is a cancer that requires all of us to eliminate. In another story, CID Vehicle Theft Squad Harare nabbed 2 carjackers who eventually cleared a robbery case committed in November 2021.
It would seem that maybe these parts belong to a dumped motor vehicle. But alas, this wreckage actually belongs to a serviceable Chevrolet Axle vehicle which was robbed from its owner by some 4 marauding criminals. They went on to strip the vehicle of its parts and sold most of the parts. But Vehicle Theft Squad Harare would have none of it. They went on to unearth this unholy alliance, arresting 2 of the quartet and also recovering this wreckage of a once serviceable vehicle.
We are making investigations into cases of robbery of motor vehicles. Recently, we managed to make a breakthrough where we arrested 2 accused persons for 1 case of robbery of motor vehicle, which occurred on the 28th of November 2021. What happened on the day in question is that the complainant was coming from work from CBD in the central business of Harare, going home. Along the way, he offered a lift to 4 accused persons who were going to Machipisa, where the complainant resides. So it was just behind the Southerton police station at the Zwasef station when these accused persons flagged down and he stopped to give them a lift. As they drove down, one of the accused persons who was sitting right at the back of the complainant manhandled him and pulled him to the back seat, whilst the other one who was seated at the front seat jumped onto the steering wheel. They drove to Amalinda in Glenview area, Harare, where they dumped the complainant before they drove away with the stolen motor vehicle. After that, the complainant got assistance from some good Samaritans who took him to Machipisa police station where he made a report. So from that time, investigations have been going on. Up until recently, the detectives got information to the effect that the stolen motor vehicle was being broken into parts in Epworth area. So acting on that information, they rushed to Epworth in Domboramari, where they managed to apprehend the 2 accused persons. Upon being interviewed, the accused persons admitted to have robbed the complainant of the motor vehicle and broke it into parts, which they sold in and around Epworth area. The accused persons led the detectives to the places where they had sold the stolen property, and all the parts were recovered. Currently, the accused persons are in court in connection with the robbery. As CID Vehicle Theft Squad Harare, I would like to urge motorists not to give lifts to strangers. The business of carrying commuters belongs to the registered public service motor vehicle operators.
You have been warned, all private vehicle owners, please stop engaging in a business that you are not registered to do. The business of transporting commuters from point A to point B belongs to registered public service vehicle operators. From that story, it's back to Onesisa Sibanda.
Thank you very much, Elliot Kutsai Kanyani. From that story, we take a break. Join us in the second segment. Welcome to the second segment of Crime Watch. In Matabeleland North Province, police in Victoria Falls made a number of arrests and recovered the stolen items. Let us hear more.
As a district, we have made various arrests and recovered a lot of goods that have been stolen from their owners. Recently, we have managed to effect a plethora of arrests. We arrested people for possession of dangerous drugs, and of which the culprit was sentenced to 10 years. theft in our lodges that are near our neighboring countries, that is Botswana, Zambia, and Namibia. We also arrested illegal dealers in dangerous drugs, people who are actually manufacturing the harmful liquids. A Parks and Wildlife Act case in which the accused person was arrested and sentenced to 24 years in jail. We continue to work with our neighbors, that is the Zambian counterparts, the Namibian counterparts, as well as the Botswana counterparts. We share cordial relations, and we, in a recent case, managed to apprehend an accused person who had terrorized Botswana in unlawful entry cases, and we recovered property for the Botswana people. The accused person is still with us and in remand. Two of his colleagues were also arrested. That accused person revealed that he is working in crowds with 15 other criminals who are yet to be arrested. And as the police, we continue to be on the hunt for those people.
Moving on to Bulawayo province, following a surge in robbery cases involving dangerous weapons such as machetes, CID Homicide swiftly reacted, arrested 8 accused persons and recovered the stolen property.
During May 2022, there was an upsurge of armed robbery cases in Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, where the accused persons were using axes, machetes, and firearms to rob people. Their modus operandi was that they would seek for information from residents who have got some valuable properties or cash. Then they would target those people. They will go during the night and they break the windows and the doors of the houses using axes. While it's inside the house, they would threaten the occupants either with firearms, machetes, and axes to rob them of their valuables and cash. As a result of the scourge, CID Homicide Bulawayo embarked on an operation No to Heinous Crimes. We organized some crack teams to crack down on the information which we had about the accused persons. The information which we had led to the arrest of 8 accused persons. And after their arrests, they led to the recovery of stolen properties from the complainants. Most of the valuable property which we recovered are household goods, such as television sets, refrigerators, and other goods worth thousands of dollars.
At around 1 a.m., my father heard someone walking on the ground. So I thought most probably he was just checking because we had no electricity. So by the time I got up and stood by my bedroom door, I saw our front door fall, like completely fall from the hinges. The whole door fell, and people ran inside. 4 ran into the lounge. The other 3 came for me. They took everything, from the TVs, our phones. They even folded our rugs. Clothes, they took clothes, they were choosing. Like shoes, they were choosing, picking only the nice ones, you know. It's like they knew what they were looking for. So they just took everything they could. And, you know, that night was so horrible for us. There were no lights. They were wearing flashlights on their heads, and some others had small axes, others had amabhemba. There were so many of them, it was overwhelming. You know, you couldn't scream, you couldn't do anything. And we thought, they've come in, same place, what. But no, everybody was wrong. 2 days later, they came for our neighbors. Same time, we heard the same knocking sound, and then the scream started. So it now became like a regular thing where you sit and wait. Who are they? We even moved because I've got 2 small children. We couldn't stay there. It was traumatic.
We would like to warn members of the public not to entertain people whom they don't know, especially the information about their welfare or their valuables or their cash. They must not divulge it to anyone else, because these people, they look for information, especially for those people with cash. Those are the people who are mostly targeted. We want to encourage members of the public to advise any nearest police station whenever they've got some information pertaining to these armed robbers. Mostly in the locations, there are people who are known that they are into the use of matches and axes. If such people are there, we would like to advise members of the public that they should approach any nearest police station and provide them with the information. This will assist us in arresting those perpetrators.
On this week's Traffic Safety segment, let us hear more from the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe.
Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe has a wide range of functions, and its primary function is to educate on road safety. But today we'll talk about one of its functions, which is to register, control, and regulate driving schools. The requirements to register a driving school are as follows. Number one, you should have a suitable premise. The premise is required to have a floor space of at least 14 square meters that may also be used as a classroom facility. In addition, it is required to present a professional image to the public, and it should have ablution facilities that are adequate and kept in a sanitary condition at all times. Secondly, qualified instructors are a requirement. The instructor is the one who gives tuition in driver education and training. He should possess a valid driver's license, and he should have a defensive driving certificate, and he should be a certified instructor. The vehicles for driver training should have a valid certificate of fitness from Vehicle Inspection Department. It should be serviced and maintained in a roadworthy condition. It should have a valid insurance, and the insurance should have a learner's liability. The vehicle must have additional brake pedal on the front passenger side and additional rear view mirror. In essence, the vehicle should be fitted with dual driving controls. And lastly, the vehicle should be maintained in a clean condition. When the council is satisfied that all the requirements and standards have been met by the applicant, a certificate will be issued. Today we spoke about requirements for registration of driving schools. On the next episode, we'll talk about the operational standards for driving schools.
This is the third and final segment of Crime Watch. Police are concerned with drowning cases, mostly involving children, where wells are left uncovered, especially in newly built suburbs. Southly Park Police is one station seized with such strategies. Let's hear more.
As ZRP Southly Park, we are concerned about our drowning cases that are happening in our policing area, particularly in Hopley zone area. These drowning cases are happening at residential areas at the uncovered wells. What usually happens is that people who are building houses dig wells to access water. They then leave these wells unsecured or unprotected. As a result of that, many people, especially children, fall into these wells. Not too long ago, we received a case whereby a toddler fell into a well and died. We have so many such cases. Our message to members of the public is to remind you to always seal these wells after use. Resources permitting, lock up the seals, especially during the night. Let us be responsible and work collectively to save lives.
Members of the public are encouraged to build strong structures that will not pose as danger to themselves. In other news, a sound legal system is important in effective and efficient functioning of the ZRP. The Commissioner General of Police said this when he officially opened the Legal Service Directorate workshop. The Deputy Commissioner General responsible for crime, Lorraine Chipato, read the speech on behalf of the Commissioner General of Police.
It gives me pleasure to officiate at this important occasion where we are officially opening the Legal Service Directive workshop. You will agree with me that the 3-day workshop for legal officers draw from all police provinces will go a long way in mapping the operational roadmap for the legal directorate. Ladies and gentlemen, as the country's law enforcement agent, the Zimbabwe Republic Police is required to move in step and align all its operation and regulation with the Constitution and Acts of Parliament. It is for this reason that the Legal Service Directorate's role of providing proficient legal services in the effective and efficient functioning of the Zimbabwe Republic Police can never be overemphasized. Hence, the decision to conduct this workshop at this opportune time is most apt, particularly given the impending 2023 harmonized election. It is during such time that all eyes, both local and international, from friends and for life, will be focused especially on how the Zimbabwe Republic Police preserve and maintain law and order. Most will be quick to point out our shortcomings or even to poke holes in our activity so as to discredit not only the police but also the credibility of the entire election process. Under no circumstances should we be found wanting for failing to professionally execute our duty. We do not expect ignorance or timidity, especially when we have a full functioning legal service department mandated with assisting and nurturing our police officers to appreciate legal process through an array of programs.
Before we come to the end of this week's episode, here are some people on the police wanted list. ZRP Braeside is looking for McDonald Mnyaradzi, age 30, of room D11, block 4, Matererini Flats, Mbare, Harare, for a case of murder. Jazel Sadiki of house number 1856, Mutoko Road, New Marlborough, Harare, is wanted by ZRP Marlborough for a case of stock theft. CID Chivu is requesting for information that may assist in the identification and the arrest of the person shown in the picture. He is wanted for a case of fraud. Lastly, ZRP Marlborough is looking for Lloyd Gamanya of Plot 1, Creston Bank, Marlborough, Harare, for a case of rape. Anyone with information that may help in the location of any of those people should contact any nearest police station or contact us on the following details. Visit our website www.zrp.gov.zw or email us on feedback@zrp.gov.zw. You can also link with us on our Twitter handle @PoliceZimbabwe or our Facebook page Zimbabwe Republic Police. If you miss any of our Crime Watch episodes, you can watch them on our YouTube channel, Zimbabwe Republic Police. You can also visit our National Complaints Desk at the Police General Headquarters or call us on 0242 703 631. This brings us to the end of this week's episode. From me, Onesisa Sibanda, and the crew behind the scenes, it's bye-bye for now.